What's up, manifestation queens? I've got a hilarious story to tell you. It's actually quite embarrassing in ways because I act like such an idiot in front of people that I love. Now, and I don't mean like love, like my family and friends. I mean like the people that I love online. And I really love people online who are just funny. Like I love comedians. So, for example, I love Celeste Barber because she just takes the piss out of everybody and herself, and she makes me laugh. And I love Garen Noon, the Irish comedian, musician. He is just hilarious, and he is the type of person, the vibe that you need to be following. Doesn't take himself too seriously. Anyway, I walk into the podcast studio, and I am supposed to be interviewing a guy on the leading expert on near-death experiences, but unfortunately he's got a storm where he is. He doesn't have the internet connectivity. And I was like, hey, you know what? It's all right. Like, you cannot sweat the small stuff. Shit happens in life. Anyway, I'm coming to the studio and guess who is here? Garen Noon. I was like, oh my God. That is so cool. So, of course, what do I start doing? I start videoing him while he's in a meeting, but the door is open. So I'm videoing him. And all of a sudden, he gets a glimpse of me videoing him. And he's like looking at me, like smiling nicely, but like, what are you doing? Just videoing me? Like, can you imagine just randomly videoing somebody like while they're in a meeting? And anyway, he started talking to him and I proceeded to tell him how much I loved him and I loved his work. So there you go. If you're on social media and you're not following him, you should be. And if you're following anybody else that lowers your vibe, unfollow and just watch all of his videos because they're absolutely hilarious. But the funny thing about this is a couple of weeks ago, when I was looking on social media and I was watching one of his things. My sister sent it on to me actually, and I was thinking, I would love to get him to do a video of him with the pause penny manifestation box. Just making fun of it, even like, oh yeah, just manifest whatever. So I said it to him there. I was like, I actually had it in my mind to reach out to you, and he was like, well, my mother read The Secret, so I'm a bit up to date with that jazz. And I just thought that was so, I was like, so it's going to happen, guys. He doesn't really know it yet, but I've put it out there and now I'm going to write it in my manifestation box. And you know what happens when you write it in your pause penny manifestation box? It happens, right? And when you get so good at manifesting, like it is your vibe and the way you show up in the world, like I am. I'm not always a vibe, but now things start to happen for me even when I'm just thinking about it, right? So just like that one, and it's going to happen.
You read all the books, Manifest, The Secret. I've read this one so many times. Doesn't even have a cover. Think and Grow Rich. And you still haven't manifested what you want. Maybe you've even made a vision board. I hope you haven't made a vision board. Well, if that is you, then join my 21-day manifestation challenge. You will get a pause penny special limited edition manifestation box. I'm not going to tell you what's inside. And you will be part of the pause penny manifestation movement. You can do anything for 21 days. So stop wasting time, be a vibe in 2025, and sign up for the 21-day manifestation challenge at pausepenny.com.
Today on this solo episode, I really want to come back to a topic, and it's about trusting the timing of your life. And I know you're going to be like, oh, for the love of God, I'm this age and I want to meet somebody, or I'm getting older and I want to have a baby, and stop with this stupid shit of trusting the timing of your life. But if I look back on my life, there were so many areas that I was so rushed in. Really wanted to meet somebody, really wanted to have a baby. And it was like rush, 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 rush. And I always wanted it on a specific timeline. And you know what happened? Nothing, except for me obsessing, controlling the outcome. But it was when I would let go that it would happen. And I feel like sometimes the universe is just like, okay, you've given me one timeline. Like, for example, people have messaged me and are like, I asked for a sign. I asked the universe to give me a sign of a butterfly within 24 hours and it hasn't happened. I'm like, yeah, it hasn't happened because you are dictating to the universe the timeline. And then you're spending the whole time looking for this butterfly. I'm going to give you an example of what I did. And then you're obsessing over it so much that it doesn't actually happen. And I call it the universe, but whatever you want to call it. I feel like you just piss off the universe when you put a timeline on things. Like, I want to have a baby by this date. I want to meet somebody by this date. And when you can try and control that part, when you try and control the timing, it never works. It just never works. It's like the universe is like, you've only given me one option, piss off. I'm going to do it on my own timing. So you've got to learn to let go of the timelines. And in the Pause Penny manifestation box, there is no when. There is no timeline, right? So the 7 steps: what do you want? Why do you want it? The visualization aspect: what do you see, hear, feel? What action are you going to take? And what are you grateful for? There's no how and there's no when. And that is on purpose because the timelines screw you up. What happens when you put a timeline on something? You put it out there and you say, universe, I want this by this date. And then what happens? You start to get closer and closer and closer to the date, and nothing is happening. Your soulmate isn't coming. You're not pregnant. You haven't gotten the new job. You haven't gotten the home that you're manifesting, and you start to doubt the whole process. And then the fear and the doubt and when will it ever happen for me kicks in. And when that kicks in, your whole vibe is lowered and you're like, fuck this shit. Like, this manifestation stuff just doesn't work for me. Oh yeah, it works for everybody else, but it just doesn't work for me. So the reality is what you really need to do is you need to figure out how you can let go a little bit. And I know in certain parts of our life, it's a little bit harder. Like for me, the hardest part of letting go was when I wanted to have a baby. I really struggled with letting go with that. And that's why I wonder, why did it take so long? And I think it was the fact that I couldn't let go. And the soulmate was as well. That one was really, really hard for me. Other things in my life I don't find as hard, like manifesting abundance, not hard for me. And I think the reason is because something like a soulmate and a baby, it's a lot of the time it's like connected to your age because of what society tells us. You've got to be married by this date, and a lot of females start to get worried about the eggs and having a baby and all that. And I appreciate that we do have to be realistic. Like you're getting towards 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, whatever it is, and you still want a baby. You can't be like, oh, it's all going to happen in divine timing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying take the action. Like, do all the steps that you need to do to put your body in the best condition it can to have a baby, or put yourself out there to go on the dates. You take the action. But if you're doing everything that you can, then you let it go. So that's what I mean a little bit about trusting the timing. And I have another episode, a solo episode that you can go back to on how to let go and some tips around how to let go. And some of my tips for letting go, like when you want to let go of something that you really, really want to manifest in your life, here are a couple of things that I do that I find help me. First, I choose a sign. So let's say it's a sign that you don't see that often. So like, for example, for Sarah Blakely to come on my podcast, it's an owl. For my podcast to explode, it's a Dalmatian dog. For my business to explode, it's a red Tesla. So choose your sign. And when you see that sign, you say, it's coming. So it almost just like raises your vibe. Then what else do? I choose the sign. I buy the card for myself. So like, I want to manifest. If you want to manifest a new job, it's congrats on your new job, or a new house, new pad, or you want to meet a soulmate. Maybe it's a card about getting engaged. And then I'll always choose like a song, a manifestation song. So when I wanted to manifest the twins, my song was All I Want for Christmas is Two Babies, right? So do little things that help you let go. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not, especially when you really, really want something in your life. But you have to make attempts to help yourself get there and let go. So another thing that has come up a lot with trusting the timing of your life is people talking about being specific. So when in the pause penny manifestation box, my first number one step is, what do you want? Right? What do you want to manifest in your life? You need to be clear on this. What is it? Ask yourself the question. What do I want in my life? Do I want a new job? Do I want to start my own business? Do I want to start a podcast? Do I want to meet somebody? Do I want to live abroad? What is it? And be clear about what you want. But don't be so clear and specific and controlling that you only give the universe one option. Let me give you an example. I want this house on this road at this number. This one house. I want this particular guy in the gym. I want, one thing that I said I wanted was twins, two boys at Christmas. And if I was going back now and I knew then what I know now, well, let me take it back for a second because there's a little bit of a difference between me, and I'll explain why. But I wouldn't be so specific, right? And there's one exception to this. There's one really, really big exception to being specific. You need to give the universe, tell the universe what you want, but don't control it exactly. So don't be so specific, like it has to be this guy and this house and this exact job. What I would recommend is that you are clear on what you want, but the universe has options to give you, right? So I want my dream job in the health and fitness beauty or in the fitness industry, as opposed to I want my dream job in Peloton or in Whoop. The end. The universe only has one option to give you then, and it might not be the right job for you. So I would say, I want my dream job in fitness. I want my dream job in beauty, instead of saying, I want my dream job in, I don't know, big beauty brand, the name. So I wouldn't be so specific that you're actually trying to control the universe, because what happens is you may not get it. And then you start to doubt the whole process and you're limiting what the universe could give you. And I'm telling you this, and I promise you this. If you are clear on what you want and you let go, you will get something far greater than you could have ever expected. The universe will exceed your expectations. And when it arrives, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I manifested this. And a split second later, you're going to say, well, actually, I can, because I've thought about it this. I wrote it down. I visualized this. So I knew it was going to happen. So taking you back to the not being so specific, and then you say, but Yvonne, you said you wanted, twins, two boys at Christmas. I think that is pretty specific, and it is very specific. But there is a difference between being specific to the universe and actually having this knowing that it's going to happen. Like for me, it was, even though doubt came in every now and again, I had this feeling, this intuition. I was like, I know this is going to happen. It's just I know it's going to happen. So I feel like if you know that that is your dream house, that is up for sale and you're going to get it, or this particular person is your dream guy, then okay, you can be very specific, but you have to know. And I mean, when I say no, I mean zero doubts there. Like you are sure that this is going to happen. But if you have doubts and you're not sure about the person, the job, if you're going to get that house, then be a little bit more open to what the universe will bring you and be a little bit more broad. I want the house that's in a particular area, but not the exact number and the exact road. So there's a difference. Okay? So that is it. And now at the end of this conversation, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, Garen Noon thinks I'm a total crazy bitch, and I wonder will he make a funny video about me, about all the people that come up to him and act like they know him because they've seen him on social media. I should have got a picture with him. Anyway, I might before I leave. Bye, Manifestation Queens.